Yes, guys. Welcome back to Nuclear Reaction Faction. At risk of giving myself a flipping brain tumor, I'm going to be reacting to more of Cyraxx's Horrifying History, full documentary by Turkey Tom. Go and check out his channel, and I'll leave the link in the description. Let's get it popping.
It's unknown if Chance is referring to a specific ex-girlfriend of his in this post, but as we'll learn later on, if anyone's abusive in his relationships, it's probably him. After getting over this slump, he's back to using online software meant for kids to make what he calls artwork. This time,
I wonder, like how abusive he actually is in a relationship. I don't know. I find it hard imagining him being physically abusive, but then again, he's attacked his family, so. But I can definitely imagine him being emotionally manipulative and very abusive that way. But yeah, maybe even physical. Who knows?
he generates cards for other artists, but also one for his fans, so that they can get early access to all of his music and art. In May, he claims he lost a friendship with a girl due to the machinations of an online hacker by the name of Chuck Stiegel, someone who he alleges has been harassing and hacking him for years.
Chuck Stiegel sounds like an FBI agent, a Lone Ranger. A maverick.
In a way, Chuck was Cyraxx's first troll and first A-log at the same time, and since he will reappear later on, it's good to
stop using words I don't understand, man. Like, I'm really impressed at your vocabulary. Usually, people don't say anything I don't understand, but like I can't even like check what you're saying either because I'm recording the video. But yeah, impressive vocabulary, I must say so.
Get his introduction out of the way. For those who don't know, an A-log is a troll who is ultimately more ridiculous than the person they're going after. But how can someone be more ridiculous than Cyraxx, you may ask? Well, how about a self-proclaimed vampire who says things like this and claims to be a conservative Christian?
Wait, let's see what he said.
An A-log is a troll who is ultimately more ridiculous than the person they're going after. But how can someone be more ridiculous than Cyraxx, you may ask? Well, how about a self-proclaimed
vampire who says
vampire who says things like this and claims to be a conservative Christian while publicly cross-dressing online. Oh, and if that's insufficient, he's also the author of the cult classic Retarded Goth Jerking Off While Crying. His relationship with
Wait, I need a minute to digest that. There was too much thrown at me at once. What the hell? I think he's right. He's an A-log. I've never heard that expression before.
Who don't know, an A-log is a troll who is ultimately more ridiculous than the person they're going after. But how can someone be more ridiculous than Cyraxx, you may ask? Well, how about a self-proclaimed vampire
Wait, let's read these messages again. That's so racist.
Things like this, and claims to be a conservative Christian while publicly cross-dressing online.
Wow.
Oh, and if that's insufficient, he's also the author of the cult classic Retarded Goth Jerking Off While Crying. His relationship with Cyraxx began in 2013 when, according to the archivists, they, along with a third friend called Billy Thayer, tried their hand at being a band, but it instantly fell apart, as all of Cyraxx's creative endeavors do. We know this not because of Chance's troll following, because at the time, he was unknown. It was Chuck's troll following, which preceded Cyraxx's by a very long time, that preserved these pieces of info. While they were much smaller in comparison to what Cyraxx eventually amassed, they were enough to, through the word of mouth, tell the tale of how Chuck tried to set Cyraxx up with another girl while he was engaged to Heather to try and break them up. When this failed, Chuck sent Heather nude photos of himself to try and seduce her, and when Cyraxx found out, they had a falling out, and Chuck continued to harass Cyraxx by hacking into his accounts. This retelling, which happens to be the earliest one online, places the breakdown of their friendship at 2013. A later retelling, which Chuck himself corroborates, places it at 2015 and claims that Chuck decided to cut ties with Chance after discovering that he'd been exchanging inappropriate messages with a 16-year-old. The thing is, how could this be possible if Chuck hadn't already been hacking into Cyraxx's accounts? Chuck is from Florida, while Cyraxx is from Ohio, so there's no chance Chuck was using one of Chance's devices and randomly stumbled on the messages.
Wow. So I imagine, sorry, I've got an itchy ear, one sec. I imagine that Cyraxx's passwords are really easy to hack. I just got this picture. He probably just does his name with 123 at the end.
Most likely story, especially since hindsight is 2020, and we later discover that Chance does indeed have proclivities toward inappropriate interactions, is that discovering Cyraxx's messages just gave Chuck pretext for what he was already doing. Before we get back into the main story, it's noteworthy to point out that their aforementioned mutual friend, Billy Thayer, met Chuck in a residential mental health program before they left to live on the streets. Eventually, Chuck managed to pay for a room in a boarding house.
Okay, that's a big red flag already. I was in a mental health facility. Because I got bipolar and had a breakdown and I tried to end myself. Anyway, I was I was in one, and I met this lass, and we fell in love like instantly, man. And it was really, really passionate and intense. And yeah, like we was in this place, and we were not supposed to share rooms with each other or even be in each other's room. But yeah, no, we obviously did stuff, and then she broke my heart, man. She went flipping mental. But what can I ask for? Like when you meet someone in a place like that, like you're not gonna get a sane chick, are you?
What he was already doing. Before we get back into the main story, it's noteworthy to point out that their aforementioned mutual friend, Billy Thayer, met Chuck in a residential mental health program before they left to live on the streets. Eventually, Chuck managed to pay for a room in a boarding house, which they shared. Upon discovering his existence and immediately noticing he was an odd fellow who bore somewhat of a resemblance to Daniel Larson, the trolls took an interest. At the point this happened, Billy had fallen out with Chuck due to the latter having accused him of possessing CP, so the method of getting Billy to talk was creating a Discord server and pretending to be a secret government agency created with the sole purpose of investigating Chuck Stiegel. This yielded a lot of results, certainly much more than initially expected, the most significant of which are archived in one of the main hubs for Cyraxx trolling, Masshole Mafia. It seems that Billy not only believed he was a Crip, a martial artist, and an experienced military man who went on multiple tours in the Middle East in the early 2000s, being decorated with a Purple Heart, among other medals. Though it's unknown if any of Billy's spiel has any truth to it, what is known for a fact is that his social media is full of posts like this one, as the trolls discover
that geezer who says he was in the military, he doesn't look tall enough to get on a Disney ride, let alone serve in Iraq.
Man who went on multiple tours in the Middle East in the early 2000s, being decorated with a Purple Heart, among other medals. Though it's unknown if any of Billy's spiel has any truth to it, what is known for a fact is that his social media is full of posts like this one. As the trolls discovered that Chuck's accusations had some weight to them, they decided to catfish Billy, pretending to be a single mom with a 4-year-old daughter. By doing this, they successfully convinced Billy to concede remote access to his accounts, and what was found was shocking. The extent of what I can show from their findings is very limited, but rest assured you're not missing out on anything worth seeing. Let's just say Billy Thayer should move to Florida. The FBI and LAPD were informed of Billy's online dealings, and the trolls had a field day.
Wait, let's go back. I remember reading about this.
What I can show from their findings is very limited, but rest assured you're not missing out on anything worth seeing. Let's just say
this part, yeah, I don't want to say it out loud, but yes, absolutely. This should be a global standard. That should be. But the problem is obviously there's always going to be with that sort of punishment, there's always going to be people who are innocent. But that being said, that's like just an occupational hazard. Like, these people are dangerous, man. You can't just like send them away for 2 years and let them back out again. They're not going to be rehabilitated. You can't rehabilitate
Billy
them.
Thayer should move to Florida. The FBI and LAPD were informed of Billy's online dealings, and the trolls had a field day by having Billy do things like dunk his head into a toilet and flush. While he seemed intent on killing Chuck for having exposed him, he eventually defaulted into just trying to get a single mom to move into the boarding house he was living in.
No.
This video is for my little princess.
What?
Just so you know, Daddy loves you.
What the hell did I just watch? As if anyone could be any more creepy than that. I don't even want to rewind it. Like, I've never seen someone so creepy. The only person I've seen as creepy as that is Nova Online. Sorry, look, my mask is like... Is Nova Online, yeah? Where he does that whole baby affect. Like that.
Eventually, this sting operation culminated in a phone call with Billy in which he incriminated himself.
The truth is that we found you because of your association with Chuck. And we checked your Facebook page and we saw a picture of a woman and a young girl kissing, and you said that it turned you on. And it was a very young girl, Billy, very, very young. So we...
Do you know what? Yeah, no offense, yeah. Me personally, with my daughter, I never felt comfortable doing the whole kissing on the mouth thing. Yeah, I don't think that's like... Something about it is like really weird. Like, I'm not dissing parents who do it, especially mums who do it with their kids. But at some point, it's kind of like weird, don't you think? Like, I couldn't do it with my daughter. I just it's just something weird about it. And the fact that turns him on is just so disturbing.
He hypothesized that you were probably a pedophile, which you are, because I posed as a single mother with a 4-year-old daughter that is not real, and you messaged me telling me that you wanted to stay home with this made-up child to molest her all day. So I got your personal information. I called Kissimmee police. I turned you in, and I'm going to make a video and put it on YouTube exposing you for the 41-year-old creep that you are that wants to fuck 4-year-olds.
Unlucky.
I was testing you.
You were testing me. You were testing me to see if I'm okay with pedophiles like you or not, because I'm not.
That is one of the oldest tricks in the book, trying to say that, oh, I was just testing. Oh, I was going to, what else did they say? Oh, I was going to tell, it was just going to be a lesson in online safety. I was going to, like all that crap.
Not like that. I was testing you. That's all a lie. Because I even looked into it and it's horrible.
Right, because it was actually a 40-year-old woman pretending to be a child to bait you, and you tried to have sex with what you thought was a child. And then, even worse, you tried to make a plan to have a single mom move down to Florida, buy you a house, because you're unemployable, Billy. You can't hold a job or support yourself.
Bullshit. I'm not employed. I work at SeaWorld.
No, you said that you left SeaWorld and...
No, SeaWorld is full of kids. Is that why you chose that job? No.
You're not going to work at SeaWorld for very much longer, because we called them too and let them know that you're a pedophile and you shouldn't be around children because you have fantasies about molesting 4-year-old girls.
Well, I got news for you. I'm going to work tomorrow.
All right, well, I'm sure your manager is going to have a lot to say to you tomorrow.
I love this. I love that chick, yeah. She's amazing. Go get it, girl. Serious.
Working at SeaWorld is horrifying to say the least.
Yeah.
All this goes to show
it's scary. It's scary. The fact he was working at SeaWorld is scarier than the sharks in SeaWorld.
what kind of company Cyraxx was attracting. Honestly, with this in mind, dating juggalettes isn't half bad. Unfortunately, both Chuck and Cyraxx were eventually faced with similar accusations with differing degrees of severity, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Back to the man of the hour, Chance Wilkins. He apparently dropped a book called Soul Census, but unfortunately, we don't have access to its contents. After designing a few more
when he says a book, yeah, I want to read that. I bet it's more like a manifesto.
with differing degrees of severity, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Back to the man of the hour, Chance Wilkins. He apparently dropped a book called Soul Census, but unfortunately we don't have access to its contents. After designing a few more cars, Cyraxx decided to move on to bigger and better, high-powered war mechs. It's interesting how he goes into detail about the kind of weapons and defense mechanisms it has, as if it were or possibly could be real, much like a kid would. He then designs some of the most revolutionary-looking footwear of all time. That being said, critics found his revolutionary design somewhat controversial, to which he said, "To all my haters, sticks and stones could never shake my tone, so I'm thinking your words haven't got a hope." Based. He announces his new music project, Urban Warfare, but quickly devolves back into his lonely persona.
I'm not gonna lie, his album covers always look pretty cool. I don't know if he's got someone making them for him, or what software he's using, or whatever, but his album covers always look really cool. It's just the contents are absolutely shockingly bad.
He makes a post featuring an image of Rurouni Kenshin hugging his girl with the caption, "This is what I want, a beautiful girl who treats me right and won't abuse or hurt me. Is that too much to ask for? Is it too much for me to ask to be happy for once in my life? So what if I don't look the best? That shouldn't matter. What should matter is how the other one is treated." He then specifies 25 CD pre-orders will constitute Urban Warfare's rollout, and I'm not sure why that's the number he picked, but that is it. After showing his brand spanking new IMVU avatar for Shadowblade, he drops a rant on how the music industry and record labels are exploitative and unfair, despite never having actually been signed to a record label.
Bro, you've never been in the music industry. What are you talking about? Like, I've been. Just no, mate. No.
Then reposted said rant.
Like, as an actual musician, it's infuriating seeing people like who have this inflated ego. Real artists tend to not like their own work, or at least. Pardon me. Sorry, I've been drinking my own strawberry cider that I made. Real artists, they have a lot of trepidation and a lot of anxiety and angst about their own work, and they find it hard taking compliments on their work. They find it hard giving themselves credit for how good it is. Really self-critical. But he's like. He's like the complete opposite. He's like, oh, I'm the best artist in the world. I was signed to this label. The music industry is screwing me over like they did Michael Jackson.
3 times, I guess because he was unhappy with the little traction the first post got. Overall, 2016 was a positive year for Cyraxx, perhaps the last one of them. Apparently, not only did he once again enter a relationship, he started a job at a new place called Miracle Riders. Though this might be just yet another iteration of his fake Second Life car business. Most importantly, 2016 was a year with no police reports from the Cyraxx household. The same cannot be said for 2017. January is kicked off with a plethora of new live stream VODs going up on his
Look at Tom's vocabulary, a plethora. Oh, beautiful, mate.
Facebook account, most of which contain the usual.
I'm not trying to be patronizing, by the way, Tom. It's just like, I'm impressed, mate, especially because you're a young lad as well.
2016 was a year with no police reports from the Cyraxx household. The same cannot be said for 2017. January is kicked off with a plethora of new live stream VODs going up on his Facebook account, most of which contain the usual we've come to expect from Cyraxx. At this point, he's also convinced himself he knows how to play the guitar.
Oh, no. Dude.
And his superb production skills also make a reappearance.
Oh, yo, let me make sure I can add people to this shit.
Oh, I can spray
After
over
thinking
that.
about life, Chance begins to work on a At this point, he's also convinced himself he knows how to play the guitar.
You ready, yeah? I'll spray over that.
And his superb production skills also make a reappearance.
Oh, yo, let me make sure I can add people to this shit.
After thinking about life,
sorry, I was going to try and rap over it, my own lyrics, but it's that rubbish, I can't. I tried.
Chance begins to work on a music documentary and enters another relationship, while his live streams are forced to go on a brief hiatus due to someone reporting him.
He cannot... he wants to make a documentary. He can't do that.
Banning and subsequent return are the primers that kick off what his trolls have come to call the living room saga, where he was frequently recording himself doing his routine not in his bedroom, but in the middle of Sally's living room. On the first day of February, he released a new dubstep track.
Yes. Yeah. 4, man, I have flow. Now it's 212. Sam's got shows. Ain't got care. Don't want to know. Don't want your coke and don't need your crow. Man's got sauce straight off the boat.
It's really a testament to his intellect and awareness that he's dropping dubstep tracks in 2017. Or maybe he's just got swag.
Hey Tom, man. I make a few dubstep tracks with AI. Don't diss dubstep, mate. I grew up on that.
For some unexplainable reason, in a lot of these live streams, he wears these motorcycle glasses on his head. I guess because he thinks it's cool and cybergoth. Which, make no mistake, it is. He then made a new band with his friend called Hallow Injection, with some wonderful cover art to go with it. He drops another song, this one with a feature from a friend of his, though it appears he misplaced his friend's verse on the beat, then moves on to working on his new EP called Nut House. Since his music endeavors weren't working out, he offered his services as a dog sitter or babysitter before going back to selling beats.
Bro. I wouldn't trust him with a dog, let alone a baby.
Time for 50 cents each. He also started a radio show and even hosted a concert to fight racism, all while working on a video game style movie and his first ever all rap album. Unlike many of his other albums and songs, this album is still up and very accessible. This is the cover for it, and this is how it sounds.
Every single day to watch my best friends die and pretend just to protect my life in you.
But Cyraxx's disappointment...
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, the beat is quite hard, but it's probably a pre-sampled track that he probably didn't really make it. You know what I mean? It was just already made or like whatever. But like him rapping, let me hear that again.
First, he alleged that someone stole a car design from him and submitted it to the Power Rangers film from 2017. It got accepted, and they took credit for it. It doesn't seem like he ever names the person who supposedly did this, so we can probably chalk it up as just another instance of Chance completely hallucinating life events that didn't happen. Next, he claimed a record label wouldn't sign him because he was too ugly, and pretended he'd been crying for hours about it before dropping a song called F the Industry, targeted at said record label, which he does not name at any point in time. It's also in February that he drops possibly one of the best pieces of avant-garde comedy ever witnessed by me.
Avant-garde, oh, I love the vocabulary. If you don't know what avant-garde means, it means like on the forefront, you're in new territory, you're an artist that's making something revolutionary. Tom, man, come on. Oh no, he's doing a skit.
Nobody here. No.
I'm surprised he can even edit to that level, to be honest with you.
Hey, what the hell?
No, mate.
Wait, what?
No.
Dude, who are you?
No.
Who are you?
Just no.
I asked you first. Oh, let's fight. Come on.
In March, he gives up on
No.
releasing one of his albums because doing so officially would cost $20. He then opens a store for Shadowblade merch and fakes a newsletter from the mobile game Vainglory, where he's described as one of the top 2 players in North America.
He did
In a video
not.
posted
He
to-
did not just do that. Did he really do that?
Releasing one of his albums because doing so officially would cost $20. He then opens a store for Shadowblade merch and fakes a newsletter from the mobile game Vainglory, where he's described as one of the top 2 players in North America. In a video posted to his Facebook, he claims he made it and announces he'll be doing a concert in Chicago, and then 2 days later he goes on a hiatus. It seems he joined another label in the meantime, Outcast Records, to release his long-awaited return to the rap game, Rebirth, after a couple of weeks or so of not posting any tracks and just busying himself with online drifting games. Oh, and he got another girlfriend named Tiny, who is
I need to read this. Tiny Yukihime, I want you to know I love you with all my heart, and no matter what happens, I will always love you. You truly mean the whole world to me. You mean more to me than I can ever put into words. Baby, I love you. That's a very sweet message. I'm not sure he wrote it himself. I'm sure he copies and pastes like anything that's not completely degenerative
his
writing.
long-awaited return to the rap game, Rebirth, after a couple of weeks or so of not posting any tracks and just busying himself with online drifting games. Oh, and he got another girlfriend named Tiny, who is obviously a catfish. Eventually, he did do a concert, if we can call it that, which consisted of him performing his songs in his usual living room setting. His next creative pivot is to make a series for YouTube about zombies called Dead Adventures, and after many instances of Chance comparing his relationship with Miss Tiny to Naruto and Hinata, they break up, supposedly because of Tiffany, which is Tiny's real name, saying something to her special needs aunt that Cyraxx wasn't okay with.
But what she said to her aunt is beyond fucked up. She told her aunt to shut the fuck up, stop asking questions, and to quit playing with the curtains before she smacks the living shit out of her.
Due to his
Whoa.
history of twisting the truth to make himself look better, there's no telling if there's any truth to the statement here. It didn't seem like the breakup shook him too badly, considering just a while later, he was dropping more banger Facebook posts such as, "My team knows about this. When you're a boss and grab that last can of NOS that the store has in stock." Soon after, he got together with yet another girl, who according to Cyraxx was his high school sweetheart. Moving increasingly farther away from music, he returned to his knack for game programming, apparently to make a game called Fantasia Order of the Moon. And I can only assume he's going to use RPG Maker to do so. Later on, he announces he'll be taking a voice acting role in a game, as opposed to taking on the role of the programmer, but neither of these things ever materialize. He returns to music instead to tease his new album, OCR Princess Farewell Tink Tink, which is probably the most deranged title so far. That's
Like, like, what is wrong with this guy? He's trying to do everything all at once, and like, what the hell? Like, so far into the how far are we into the video? 40 minutes, and he's like come up with about 30-40 different flipping business ideas, and none of them have gone anywhere.
At some point, he either broke up with his high school sweetheart, or she has more than one name, as on June 6th, he claims that unnamed people are trying to break him up with his girlfriend, Betty. He seems to become increasingly upset and frustrated in general, which leads to his efforts towards music noticeably decreasing. After re-releasing his old album, Darkness to Light, he considers quitting music altogether, saying, "To be honest, these last couple of days, I've been contemplating quitting music because record labels don't know how to shut their mouths about me and refuse to stop bashing on me all because of my physical appearances. Do I want to quit? No, but how can I make a living if they won't stop bashing on me and give me a fair chance to show them what I can do?" Many others believe I should be signed, but it's hard to get signed when record labels constantly tear you down and bash on you.
Bro, I'm sorry, yeah, but anyone telling you that you should be signed is pulling your leg, mate. Like, they either just are trying to be nice, or they're just trolls. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to leave it there because I've got someone coming around to do a fire safety check. So yeah, you've been locked into Nuclear Reaction Faction. Check out my other content, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.